The shadows of Icarus. In a sleepy little town nestled between towering mountains, there was an old legend that haunted the whispers of its inhabitants. The story told of Icarus, a figure from ancient lore who had defied the sun, and in doing so, paid the ultimate price. According to the townsfolk, whenever a true believer wished desperately enough to escape their mundane existence, Icarus would come to life, offering a deal, flight, adventure, but at a harrowing cost. 17-year-old Ellie Collins always felt out of place in her small town. She dreamed of soaring above the clouds, laughing in the face of gravity, leaving behind her dreary life where each day bled into the next. On a particularly uneventful Friday night, she found herself alone in the attic, surrounded by dusty relics of her childhood, her grandmother's old books, forgotten toys, and a tarnished mirror that fogged at the slightest touch. As she wiped the glass, she recited the fabled words ancient with despair. I long for wings, to soar amidst the skies. The air thickened and crackled with energy, but when Ellie looked into the mirror, she didn't see wings sprouting from her back. Instead, the reflection warped and twisted, and for a single, haunting moment, she caught the outline of a young man with pale skin and dark eyes. Ellie shuddered, her heart pounding, but the feeling of restlessness surged within her. Despite the warnings from her friends, she returned to the attic night after night, whispering the incantation louder and louder until one evening, the air turned electric, and the entire room vibrated around her. The mirror split like a thunderclap, and Icarus stepped 1 foot through. His wings unfurled, majestic but ragged, the feathers blackened at the edges as if burned by the sun. You called for me, he said, his voice smooth yet laced with a haunting whisper. What do you desire? Ellie felt a mixture of thrill and fear, her voice barely above a whisper. To escape. To fly. A smile curled Icarus's lips, and for an instant, she thought she saw something sinister lurking beneath his charm. I can offer you that, but I warn you, the heights have their price. Freedom will unveil the truths of your soul. Ignoring the warning, Ellie nodded fervently. With an outstretched hand, Icarus clasped hers, and they launched out of the attic, rising through the night sky. The sensation of weightlessness overwhelmed her, and she laughed, exhilarated by the freedom she had yearned for. They flew through clouds that sparkled like silver dust and over the quiet sleeping town that had confined her for so long. Yet, after hours of soaring, a sense of vertigo took root deep in her stomach. Icarus, where are we going? She asked, her voice trembling. His expression shifted, revealing a glimmer of madness in his dark eyes. To heights unknown, he said softly. But beware, for the sun grows ever closer. As they flew higher, Ellie felt the rush of air grow hotter, the light too bright. Panic tightened her chest as her surroundings morphed, the pure celestial blue transformed into a blistering white light. She glanced back, and the world below turned into a distant memory, but the sun loomed above, blinding now. Icarus, she screamed. I can't hold on. He tightened his grip, an insistent grip that felt more like a chain. The price must be paid, he bellowed, laughter mingling with anger as the sun descended around them like an inferno. Ellie struggled against him, the heat scorching her skin, the light searing into her very being. Let me go, she pleaded, fear curdling in her gut. Suddenly, Icarus released her, and for a horrifying moment, she was suspended in air, plummeting toward the earth below. She braced herself but found not impact, but the mirror again, the very same cracked relic in her attic. The attic was now cold and shadowy, whispers curling around her like ethereal smoke. Despair etched itself onto Icarus's face as he too was drawn back through the portal, and Ellie experienced a sense of triumph, relief washing over her. But as she looked around, something within her twisted. What had happened to Icarus? The burning sun had taken him, just as it had taken him in the tales. The mirror shimmered and reflected not only her terrified self but echoed the flickering shadows of Icarus behind her. Before she could turn, they lunged through the glass, the dark twisted silhouette clawing toward her, whispering promises of freedom and flight, revenge against the sun. Ellie stumbled back, heart racing, as she rushed out of the attic, feeling confined once more. But now she understood, she could never escape the consequences of her wish. The desire for wings had unleashed the shadows of Icarus, and in her pursuit of flight, she had merely tethered her soul to a myth haunted by despair. And now, as the whispers filled her home, She realized she had become part of the legend, destined to haunt that attic for those who would dare to seek the skies and the eternal, burning truth behind the flight.